What is up, YouTube family? Thank you guys for tuning back into Wilburn Reactions. So the question that still comes up a lot on the channel, what is my name? It is Chod. It is spelled C-H-O-D. Some keep asking that. I'm sorry if it sounds like I say it a little fast. Some people think it's Sean. Some people think it's other names, but it is Chod. And then I thought about it. I'm like, my social media is, my Instagram is Wilburn, so it's my last name. And then this channel is Wilburn, which is my last name. But my Facebook has my full name. So, but for those who are asking, it is Chod. But we're going to continue on with the MTV documentary. And a lot of you guys in the comment section sent this over, and then some of you sent it to my email. So thank you so much for this. This is David Bowie talking about MTV at the time and what was going on. So there was more to it. So I was excited to know that and to hear more about it. So let's dive in and hear David Bowie's take on this whole situation.
I'd like to ask you something. I mean, so, you know, all right. It occurred to me, having watched MTV over the last few months, that it's a solid enterprise and it's got a lot going for it. I'm just floored by the fact that there's so few black artists featured on it. Why is that?
I think that we're trying to move in that direction. We want to play artists that seem to be doing music that fits into what we want to play for MTV. The company is thinking in terms of narrow casting.
That's evident. It's evident in the fact that the only few black artists that one does see are on about 2:30 in the morning or to around 6. Very few are featured predominantly during the day.
No. Okay, David, coming through with the facts. You know what? See, I like people like this because you got people that like to argue just because, and then there's those people that get loud when they try to get their point across, and they can still be wrong, but they just want to be loud. And then you got people like David, who's calm, collective, and he's going to say, let me state the facts behind this. He said, yeah, they come on at 2:30 in the morning. That answer. I mean, well, first you say we're moving in that direction, but you have some, but they're on at the hours of who knows who is watching that. I mean, yeah, there's some late birds that are up, you know, people, we all stay up late, you know, you're up, can't sleep. Yeah, you might catch a snippet. Hey, but nobody's up at 2:30 in the morning, like just full on energy, unless you're on something and just like, oh, you know what, this song, you know, let me remember this song when I wake up in the morning. You know, this group, you know, they really caught my attention. You have sleep watching it. So yeah, let's bring that to light.
I'll say that over the last couple of weeks, these things have been changing, but it's a slow process.
I know it's funny. I think people have different perceptions when you wind up watching. Let's say you watch an hour or 2 or even 3 a day. People somehow come away with different ideas about what we are doing. We don't have any kind of day parting for anything, let alone a black artist day parted out of what would be, quote, prime time. We don't have that.
Because one sees a lot there's one black station on television that I keep picking up. I'm not sure which station it's on. But there seem to be a lot of black artists making very good videos that I'm surprised aren't used on MTV.
Well, of course, also we have to try and do what we think not only New York and Los Angeles will appreciate, but also Poughkeepsie or Midwest. Pick some town in the Midwest that will be scared to death by Prince, which we're playing, or a string of other black faces.
That's
and black
very
music.
Interesting. Isn't that interesting?
You know, we have to play the music that we think an entire country is going to like, and certainly we're a rock and roll station now.
That's all I needed. That is the answer right there. I needed that. You hear what he said? We need to play music that the entire country is going to accept. He didn't say like. Key word. He didn't say like. He didn't say accept. There is where the line was drawn there. That right there answers everything. He didn't say we're playing the music that people are going to like, they're going to enjoy. He said we're playing the music that the world is going to accept. There it is. That answered every question. That's all you need to know. They're not playing music because it's good. Oh, you can be a black artist and be great. Your music can be great, but are you going to be accepted? That's crazy. He's answering it right there in front of us. Accept. Catch that word.
Question would be asked, well, should, since we're in New York, should PLJ play, you know, the Isley Brothers? Well, you and I might say, yeah, because we have grown up in an era when the Isley Brothers mean something to me, and so do the Spinners, even way after the Isley Brothers. But what does it mean to a 17-year-old? Well, if you talk on the phones to these guys like I did when I was in radio, it's scary.
Well, I'll tell you what it means. I'll tell you what maybe the Isley Brothers or Marvin Gaye means to a black 17-year-old.
Ah.
And surely he's part of America as well.
No question, no question. And that's why you're seeing those things.
Do you not find that it's a frightening predicament to be in?
Yeah, but less so here than in radio.
And is it not, well, no, don't say, well, it's not me, it's them. Is
No, well,
it not possible that it should be a conviction of the station and of other radio stations, to be fair? It does seem to be rampant through American media. Should it not be a challenge to try and make the media far more integrated in music, especially of anything in musical terms?
Absolutely, I think it's happening because white music and white musicians are now starting to play more than ever, more than they have lately, let's say in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
What black artists have been into. And now, hopefully, the lines are going to start to blur, and when we play a band like ABC.
Yeah.
I'm listening to that, and what I'm thinking is, like, you got people who's high up over these, you know, musical artists, and, you know, he's a radio host or whatever else he does. You know, you have the platform to put music out there, put their talent out there. You're saying, oh, we're moving in that direction, we're trying, you know, but you have the sources to do so. So how hard are you really trying to put this out there if you have it? You don't have to, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure, yeah, you might have to answer to somebody, right? But at the end of the day, when you have these platforms and you're high up, you can make the move to say, you know, I'm going to put that out there. I'm going to air this. We're going to do this. No, we're trying. Trying sounds like we ain't trying hard enough at that time. And we're talking right now. We're talking 1983. We're not talking 2023. We're here now. I'm talking right now when this interview was took. And we're talking at that moment. This is what we're talking about. We're not talking today. I know we've come a long way. I said that in our last video, but we're talking right now and when the time they were living in. And I feel like that's just, once again, we're coming back to excuses of trying. We're moving that direction. We're trying to do this. No, try a little bit harder, because you're saying accept. You're not saying, oh, that music is the reason. You're saying they have to be accepted. That's mind blowing. That is mind blowing to me.
There's white and black kids who are enjoying it, and all of a sudden, well, it's a little bit easier for a white kid to understand it. The fact is, quite frankly, I could even point you towards a letter in the new issue of The Record,
the
magazine The Record, responding to an article by Dave Marsh, that this kid just ranted about what he didn't want to see on MTV.
Well, that's his problem.
And in no uncertain terms, well, what I'm saying, though, is that there's, as you say, there's certainly a lot of black kids and white kids who may want to see black music. There's a ton of them who are, it's not like it was in '67 where you say, yeah, I'm not into that, you know, but you are, yeah. Now it's, you're into that, I don't like you. And that's scary, and we can't just turn around and go, well, look, this is the right way. We can only teach, I think, a little bit at a time.
David's face is
interesting. Okay, thank you very much.
Does that make sense? Valid point?
I understand your point of view.
Okay. Yeah. He like, I'm gonna just understand it, but I don't get it. You know, I respect artists like this that always had a bigger perspective since you guys introduced me to David Bowie. And I remember you guys telling me a little bit about him, and, you know, he kind of stepped out of his element and tried out like funk, and that wasn't something he was used to or, you know, never tried, but he was very successful in doing it. And I've heard some of his music, I reacted to it, and the man was just brilliant. And to hear him go out there and talk like that and make awareness to the situation is beautiful. He didn't have to. And he really didn't have to try to raise awareness to it, but he felt something was wrong, something was off, and he wanted to bring awareness to the situation. And I'm glad to know there was artists like that. Like we talk about it, it really gave me a flashback right now hearing him talk about it. I really immediately went to Elvis, and, you know, I talked to you guys about how people used to say like, oh, Elvis stole or did this and did that. And I was always tell you guys, when I was raised different, you know, Elvis didn't, you know, he had the platform to do what he needed to do to get that sound out there. And the black artist gave him that, like, you can do it. You can put that sound out there. You can get our sound out there and in your style, you know. So David Bowie, another one, you know, just hearing this shows that he was different. He stood different from that. And, you know, he wanted to help the black artists get their music out there, and he knew they had the talent. And you hear the question when he said, well, what about that 17-year-old black kid that, you know, can relate to Marvin Gaye or whoever? Oh yeah, you know, he kind of just gave them, you know, fought back with what they gave him. Like, oh, well, this artist, they wouldn't understand. No, there's something out there for somebody, like everybody, I say, when it comes to anything. But I'm going back to this because I said this in my last video. It's a sensitive topic, and I know it's going to be controversy saying this. Like I said, I'm one. A lot of you guys have been rocking with me on the channel for a long time. I don't play the victim card. I don't pull the race card. I wasn't raised that way. That's why I always tell you guys, when I do talk about these subjects, I want to be as stern and honest as possible. But when I say that, I may not have lived through these times. I may not have lived through a situation of racism or experienced it. But one thing I do say, I do know there's people who have experienced it. I know people personally who's experienced it. My dad grew up in Texas, from Texas. I have a grandma that's alive still today. Was raised in Louisiana. She did grow up on a plantation. So her stories, when I hear her stories, when she told me her stories, how she was raised and how she was brought up, I have a grandma, you know, that tells me these stories, and it's hurtful, you know. And if I try to, like, when I'm reacting to this stuff and I hear people say like, well, you don't know nothing about it. I might not, but I have family that's told me about it. And so when I hear about it, it hurts me, you know. Or even if I didn't have a family member, it's just knowing that this is a part of history. You know, everything has a part of something in history. And when you look back on these subjects, to know I could have lived through those times and I could have been a black bystander in those times when they didn't like us, it hurts me. And to think today, in today's world, there's still people out there that might not like me because of my skin color. Like I said, I've never dealt with it, but I do know there's people out there that still, there's videos around the world that show you. And I'm not talking about discrimination, the cop videos and all that crap. I'm talking about natural, just, there's towns where they don't even want you in there, you know. It's deeper than that. And like I said, I'm not blinded. I'm not a guy that's raised on, you know, I'm getting your race card. Like, I take backlash from my own people because of how I stand on certain things. So like I said, I'm not that person that's going to play victim in these situations, but my thing is, it's still out there in awareness. And then me watching this video, knowing that, you know, black artists or black people in general went through stuff like this, it's education to me. And what it does to me is, as a young man, it teaches me to be better because they paved the way for me and they made it easier for me to be doing what I'm doing today. I'm on a platform. I'm talking to you guys. I can move freely out there in the world as I want to, you know, and have freedoms. And I look back and stuff like this, I'm watching this because, not to say, oh, well, let's just keep talking about racism. No, it's more or less, thank you, David Bowie, for raising awareness to this and helping get past it. Thank you to whoever else was out there who walked before us and helped us get to where we are today and coexisting with each other, because that wasn't possible back in those times. So that's why I look at these videos and look at it like that. So this was good. This is great education. Like I said, I love that you guys are down below, leaving comments, leaving your opinions down below, and let me know how you guys feel on the situation. I know sometimes it gets ugly when we talk about these subjects because you got people that's like, oh, you know, I'm not that person. I'm just here to get educated. That is it. But thank you guys so much for sending this over. Thank you guys for tuning in with me once again. Let me know what you guys thought about this one. I will see you guys in my very next video.